I want the people to know I'm not trying to make another Silly Fools, because you can't. For me, you can't do that without Toe, anyway. For me, no disrespect to the current Silly Fools, they're great. They're doing what they're doing is great,
but it's different.
It's different. It's just not the same.
Yeah. Three reasons why I invite you to this program. First of all, you are the first guest who works as a 100% producer. Second, you are the more like another member of Silly Fools, and Silly Fools is like one of the greatest band in Thailand, right? And the third reason, your experience both in Thailand and other countries would be very useful to share with those who want to know, about producing band and working in the studio.
Yeah, I love to share that.
Great. So our most viewed episode in Untitled Talk is the episode with To Silly Fool. Have you seen that episode?
Yes, I did see it. I thought it was great. I thought it was very good. I liked it because I love To. To's my best friend.
Okay.
And I haven't seen him for such a long time. And also, I knew that you would get to the point of some things that people need to hear. And I knew it all of those things, of course, because we would talk all the time. But I really wanted him to tell everybody from his heart. And I was pleased about that he did that. And I'm also pleased that he found his happiness. Because he was quite a tortured person.
As one of the To good friends, could you tell us the difference between To in that episode and To in real life working with you?
Actually, pretty much the same.
Great.
Because
that's a good thing about To.
Yeah, he never changed. He's always been super passionate.
Okay.
In fact, that's the first thing that struck me about To, which is a very good thing. If you're going to be in the music business, you need passion. He had passion in abundance, And I used to call him my crazy Muslim, because he's always like angry. I was like, To, calm down, man. I was his calming down.
I see.
Thing. So I love him for that because I find that funny, because it's something in yourself, not a negative thing.
Yeah.
It's something I could see him reasoning everything and thinking everything through. He's a thinking man.
Yeah. And have you like talking to him lately?
Last time, actually, more chatting.
I see.
We didn't see each other for a long time because of me going to England and after the breakup, and we kind of, to be honest, we kind of fell out a little bit over that. Because Sengtang Shiwit, but I contacted him a couple of years ago, and I think more than a couple of years ago. I said, "Hey, To, come on, man," and then he responded, and he said he'd been seeing my son Richard grow up, and he said I can see a good, kind light in his eyes like you, which is very nice of him. And so that was very warming, and I've been watching his YouTube channel with his. I find that hilarious. He's doing where he cooks the meat and his kids are running around and stuff.
Oh.
Have you ever seen his show?
Yeah, of course. It's a really good show.
It's good.
Yeah.
And I know it's a bit of a long answer, but he's not changed a bit, not even slightly. He's the way he speaks and half Thai English all the time. He always did that.
Yes. Have you tried his steak?
Yes, I have tried his steak. I went to his restaurant, not this steak restaurant. I went to the other place.
I see.
The the green with the green logo.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but
it's like
maybe.
a more Thai food.
I see.
But I saw the steak and thought, wow, he and I are foodies.
Yeah.
And we were always talking about food the whole time we were recording. And he's serious about meat and things. Yeah. So I thought I got to try his steak. And then his staff recognized me and called him. And he said, "Oh, sorry, dude, I can't come." I know, he was my sabai that day. But I've yet to meet him. I haven't seen him.
I see.
And he's invited me and Richard to go for lunch.
Okay.
But it's his schedule, my schedule. We're trying to make it happen.
Okay.
My fan club on my fan page keep pressuring me. But I know why they want me to go and see him. They want me to tell him to sing again, you know. I keep saying it's not going to happen, not in this lifetime.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
But anyhow.
So, how do you feel that Silly Fool fan call you like another member of Silly Fool?
Well, it's very nice. It's an honor, but it's not a surprise to me because I'm the kind of producer that does that. In the sense of, I actually saw an interview once about Bon Jovi, and they were talking about, I think it was Desmond Child who wrote a lot of the big, I think it was, I hope I'm not wrong, and he said, you've got to become a member of the band in the time that you're doing that work, because a band is like that, you know, a band is like a gang, you know, and so.
Especially the rock band, right?
Especially rock, but yeah, you kind of all hang out together and you eat together, and so you bond.
Yes.
But that's crucial to, which I'm sure we'll get into later about production. So yes, so I actually feel it's a huge part of my history in Thailand, and yeah, I do feel I was a member of the original Silly Fools. I do.
Cool.
I really do. So it's really nice they acknowledge that.
Great.
You know, yeah.
So tell me about your work as a producer. What producer do for the band or for the album?
Wow, that's such a wide question.
I know.
Only in the sense of we're all not the same.
I see.
All producers are different. It depends how you came to being a producer. So, for example, you would have producers that were artists first and then they started to enjoy producing.
Okay.
Or you have engineers who trained on the technical side become producers. That's the natural scale of things. Okay. No one wakes up in the morning and says, I think I'm going to be a producer. You kind of fall into it. But so
how about you? What kind of
producer so for me, well, I'm more of a collaborator. Because I'm a musician as well, I play drums, guitar, keyboards, and I sing, right? So, and I've been an artist myself. So, I'm coming to it. First of all, I had to learn the skills, which we can all do. So I've learned quite to a high level engineering, all the different programming software, all those things to the technical side, miking, and all that stuff, which you need. And my mentor, Gus Dudgeon, who produced Elton John, he was the one that really turned me on to all of that stuff, all of the technical stuff. He was an amazing producer. So the kind of producer I am is I'm more of an artist. I want to contribute to the artist and make the best out of the artist. So a producer's role is to bring the absolute best out of every single person and make them shine to their best and get rid of the stuff that's not so good. You know.
And since you are an artist before, and when you work with the artists like Silly Fool, which is not normal artists, right? That they are great, right?
Yeah.
So how do you balance between your opinion as an artist as yourself or their opinion?
Yes. You see, there's a thing that some producers negotiate to say, my word is final, and I don't always do that because it depends. You can't always do that. But of course, if the band keep fighting, somebody's got to be the judge, I guess.
Okay.
So I fall into that role because I'm older and I've got more experience. Okay. They take my word for it because I know, right? But in the case of Silly Fools in those days, I had everything to prove. As far as they were concerned, I was a dance producer. I produced Christina Aguilera.
Yeah.
They were kind of like, well, what do you know about rock? So I had to show them all my rock experience from before. But yeah, that was and Palmer said to me when he hired me, he said, he said, there's at least 3 sound engineers in that band.
Okay.
And I was like, heaven help me. Don't say that, please. He thought it was a good thing. It's not a good thing. You know, so yeah, wasn't easy. You know, the big problem is people think about technique so much.
Okay.
My ethos is we are playing music to people, right? So there's a human connection. People forget that, you know. So what makes a great thing is you've got a great song, you've got a great melody, you've got great musicians, you've got great technique and all that. But why is it not here? Because you don't touch people. That's my whole premise for production. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to find that spark, that special. And with people like Do, it's easy because he's so driven and passionate. And he writes his own lyrics, so I don't need to tell him how to emote because he knows what he wants to say, right?
Yeah.
So that part of it was easy. But you've got how many people? 4 other people in there with all different characters and what they think a producer is. You know, so that's kind of like, for example, myself and Don. Don was all about technique, all about this not plug-in in those days, this. He brought in this rack, like it was the size of a human being.
Yeah.
Dragged it into the studio, and he hated me because the first thing I said was, "You turn that off and leave it in the corner." He was like, "Why?" I said, "Well, tell me all your favourite guitarists," and he named all his favourite guitarists. I said, "Okay, this one he uses a Marshall 4x12 with a 100-watt head. This one uses a Vox AC30 with the microphone." I said, "You catch my point? You don't need all the this and the this, because it's just, you know." And he's kind of thought, "I don't like this for right." I'm sure, but you know, so he's all about technique.
Okay.
But he's brilliant, a brilliant guy, very, very, very clever guy. So that's an element that we needed in Silly Fools.
Okay.
You know,
You used to say that being a producer is 50% know-how and 50% psychology.
yes,
Yeah, can you explain
define that. Yes.
that? Yeah, define it.
All I'm trying to say is, don't forget the human.
Okay.
Because we get bogged down with technology and this latest gadget and this thing and making the sound perfect, which you have to do.
Of course.
You have to do that, but don't forget the human. So with musicians, you have to understand when you're going to get the best from them. I call it a curve, right? It's like a curve like this. So I have to really observe their whole, you know, for example, does he play better when he's hungry or... You know,
that's why you have to hang out with them.
hang out with them and see and see what's what, and see, you know, how many times they're going to play, and before it starts to get stale, and the performance will drop. So I know next time I've got to catch him here, not here.
I see.
That's a guitarist. With a singer, I call the whole vocal process the fish tank effect.
Fish tank effect?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it?
Because I've been the other side of the glass. When you're... I know you know what I'm talking about. When you wear headphones, and there are people in the control room, and I limit to not too many people.
I see.
When we're doing a vocal. All the vocalist can see is...
Yeah.
And it's really weird.
Yeah.
But he's a human.
Yes.
Why would you make a human feel weird and then ask him to sing a love song? You know what I mean?
I see.
So I have a technique. What I do is I have my finger on the talkback, so the vocalist can hear what's going on in the room all the time. Sometimes you're lucky, you can have a talkback, but you just press it once, it stays on.
Yeah, I love that because when I do a voiceover, I love when the sound engineer did that.
Yeah, because you can communicate, right?
Yes.
And then I tell the engineers to never, ever, ever, ever ask me my gap about the vocal. And so you won't need to ask me, you wait for my signal. I make them watch this hand. So I have my hand on the talkback here.
Okay.
And this means my gap. This means give me another track.
Okay.
So I'll be doing this, the engineer's doing that. One, I'd say, that's great, man. That's really good. I think we've got it. So, because I didn't want him read my mouth saying, make it,ไม่ดี ไม่เอา Because you imagine that a rom going to drop, you know?
Yes.
And even though singers are their own greatest critic, they'll say, no, I want to do it again. You have to let them feel they're getting somewhere. If you've been doing a vocal for 2 hours, and because he can't see the computer, he can't see what we've got, right?
Yes.
He or she is going to feel like we're getting nowhere.
Okay.
So I have to update and say, okay, listen, I think we have it now. The vocal's great, but did you think about doing it like this or whatever the thing that I need? Yeah.
Wow.
It is psychology.
Yeah, of course. Wow. So if the singer have voice as the weapon, guitarist have that guitar. So what is the weapon of producer? Yes.
Wow. Patience.
Whoa. Yeah.
A lot.
So if I ask you what is your special power, you will answer.
Yeah.
Patient. I'm patient.
Yeah, it's part of it, but it's communication.
Okay.
I would say communication is everything.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And communication need patience also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to say the right thing to the individual. That's why the psychology part. Okay. You need to know what makes them tick. You need to know what do I say to this person without upsetting them to get the best out of them. Not for me, it's for you. That's the thing about it. It's never for me.
Yeah, of
you
course.
know, it's all I'm doing is I'm trying to be it's like their doctor. You know, trying to make the best for them, make them well.
What did you see in Silly Fools before you produced them as a whole band?
To be honest, when the opportunity came up, I saw that I knew. First of all, I think they needed help.
Okay.
In the sense that I could hear all of this. They were very young.
Okay.
And I knew what they were trying to do. When I listened to IQ Roy Betson, I knew what they were trying to do. And it was exciting what they were trying to do.
Yes.
But it was only very pocket market in Thailand at that time. And my duty, Pipom said to me, make them hit. I don't know how you're going to do it because this is not.
That's a tough job, you know.
Yeah, I said I'll do it. I'll give it to you, deliver to you with roses, mate. I'll do it.
Okay.
Because I realised all I had to do was just. It's not about selling out. It's about making it more palatable for people who aren't into that hardcore genre.
Okay.
To get it, there is a middle ground.
Yeah.
And also the songs, I encourage them to make slightly more commercial songs.
Okay.
But not commercial as in tete, it's Egalat. There's something, because when you put those guys together, it can only be Egalat.
Yeah.
It can only come out as something unique.
Yes.
With Tao, with his mad, angry thinking, and all those sorts of things. I can go through the chemicals of those bands, chemistry of those bands, which I didn't know before until I got to working with them.
Okay.
Very unique chemistry. But I knew, my first impression, as you're saying, I knew Tao had something special.
Okay.
Day one. Sometimes you meet somebody and you just get.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And that's Gus said that to me once. I asked him, do you know a star when they walk in the room? Or when you talk to her? Because I'm really interested. Do you know if someone's going to make it or not? He said, oh yeah. I said, oh really? You know what my next question is going to be? Do you think I'm going to make it? He said, no question. Yeah. I said, you really? He said, and I know what he means now. I can literally meet somebody, look in their eyes and have a bit of a conversation. I'll know whether they've got a chance or not.
Wow.
To make it. It takes a certain kind of person.
Yeah.
you can't just be a singer or a songwriter. You need a whole tasanakadi.
Whole package.
Yeah, putikam. What was it?
Putikam.
Putikam tasanakadi.
Yeah.
Very important.
Well, really, sophisticated Thai words.
Sometimes.
Okay, great. So you mentioned earlier the chemistry between the members in the band.
Yes.
Could you please analyze each member of Silly Fools?
I can actually. I can. I mean, like I already said, Don is very, very technically minded.
Okay.
Everything's got to be just so. More is more. With him. He's a guitarist.
That's why he's been in more music. More is more.
Yeah. And so that's him, and that's good because that's certainly a huge part of Silly Fools, right? Mm-hmm. Da was keen to learn. That's the thing about him. When I first worked with him, I'm a drummer too, right?
Yeah.
So he was technically amazing, like in a jazz sense.
Yeah.
Like a jazz drummer. And I thought, what can I bring to this? What's not right here? And I said, that's good, but can you really, really hit them? He'll tell you, if you ever talk to him, this is the thing he says about me, usually. I'm the guy who gave him the power. I said, like this, and I said, and I go, what? Because I'm like it's like gardening when I play drums. Like that. He went, oh, can I? I said, yeah, because the drum sounds better when you hit it really hard, from a sound perspective. Okay. And when I watch that guy play now, he's like an athlete.
Yeah.
He's doing all this technique, but he's pouring with sweat.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the greatest drummers.
Yeah, I think so.
Him and Yai for sure.
Yeah.
And so he was very keen, and always smiling at me. And the good thing about him was, Tao is really serious about the drum part.
Okay.
Serious, it's got to be unique. It's got to be busy, not just Tao loves that. So he was perfect because he could do what Tao said about what he wants, and they could collaborate. And then there's dear Rang.
Yes.
Sweet Rang. He at first he was like a deer in the headlights.
Yeah. You give me the picture.
He was
really clear.
He was like, and I said, calm down. I said, and he'd go off into another office practicing his bass part. And I said, don't do that too much. Don't be frightened. Don't be like, because I think he probably felt he was the least important as a bass player, as bass players do, right?
Yeah.
But the guy writes great songs. I think he wrote Kitten. He writes beautiful chord sequences, usually on acoustic guitar.
Okay.
He's got a very good sense of melody, Rang. And when Tao sings something great, Rang's the one who responds. You know what I mean? That's the thing.
Yeah.
He's the one that I would listen to about whether the melody is good for Thailand.
Okay.
He's such a sweet guy as well. Really, really nice guy.
Cool.
So that was a really interesting dynamic.
Yeah. You mentioned about Tao already or not?
Tao, did I? What he's like? He's the band leader. He's the, sort of organising everything, and he's the one who used to run into the promotion and stuff. And Tao would keep running backwards and forwards and saying, "Hey, we sold out in 10 minutes today at 7-Eleven," or something like that, which is great. I come and tell everyone.
Yeah.
It was when we were on the Mint album. He kept doing that. He kept saying, "Did you know we broke this record, that record?" And it was like, "Yeah, wow, great, wow." We used to discuss religion all the time because I'm a non-believer, and he used to say, "I don't get anything to convert you,
Okay.
But I would talk about the universe and talk about this, and we used to have really interesting talks. I would be the one who would tell him it's time to lamad. We'd be in the middle of a vocal, and I go, beep, beep. I go, hey, don't. You go, okay. Matt goes down in the vocal booth. I just pick up a book and he'd lamar loy instantly.
Okay.
And then when it's all over, we carry on with the vocal.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I mean is about his. He would phone me up. He would phone me up in the morning before I'm coming to the studio, and say, "That's it, man. I'm leaving. I'm quitting City Fool. That's it." I'd be like, "What? Meet me in Starbucks. You know, Grammy.
Yeah.
Downstairs.
Yeah.
You're not going to change my mind. That's it." He did that like I think nearly every album he did that to me. I mean, like, what's the matter now? And it wasn't anything about the it was about the pressure.
Okay.
This is what I wanted to get into with you.
Yeah.
The pressure on him to write the lyrics.
Okay.
And, you know, as it got more and more. It got more and more. We used to talk about it all the time. Because I was saying, you know, sometimes a writer, you know, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be about personal experience. You can be in the third person. You can tell a story about something that you saw over there or something.
Yeah.
He said, "No, you don't understand ties. It's got to be about love. It's got to be about this and that." It used to drive him nuts. It used to make me laugh.
Yeah.
He said, "No, you're in the music business. You're a songwriter. What do you want from me?" But yeah, I used to talk him out of leaving. I don't think he was going to leave.
Yeah.
But he used to. That's what I said about Crazy Guy. He'd say like very, very drong, very direct. That's what it is. You know, very direct, cutting, not like Thai at all.
Okay. So when you first working with Silly Fools, what direction have you planned to produce Silly Fools?
It wasn't quite like that, in the sense that it wasn't that contrived.
I see.
All I knew was I had IQ Roy Betsip and I heard the bakery stuff.
I see.
4-track EP.
Yeah.
So I knew where they'd come from, and I knew where they were going,
Okay.
and I just had to facilitate to get them there,
I see.
which we did. Which we did. I'm proud of that, you know.
Okay.
But and of course, and the demos that they brought to me for Candyman, they'd already changed themselves without me.
I see.
They'd already changed. You know, we had like Pu Ying Yai and is that Ting Wen Lati Dong Bai, right? Is that Pu Ying Yai? I think so. I sang my first Thai vocal on that one. People said, "Oh, you should." Just
really?
for different, you should sing it.
Oh.
Yeah, the Ting Wen Lati Dong Bai. That's me.
Oh.
In the beginning, with the bongos and stuff.
Okay.
Pu Ying Yai, I think it's called that song.
Okay.
Anyway, so they had like a. So then I was worried because they had like a kind of jazz funk vibe going on. I was like, "What are you doing?" You know, it's 1 minute it's like Rob Zombie and you know, kind of synthetic rock, and then with mad sequences.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's like this kind of jazz exploration thing. And what do I? And I thought to myself, what do I do with this? You know. But then I realised they are my Thai queen in a way.
Okay.
If you think about it.
Yes.
See, the thing that I love about Queen is there is no two songs that are the same.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And well, they got away with it. Why can't we?
Yes.
You know. And I think it made them more special, Silly Fools.
Of course.
Much more
But
special.
then anyway, they might do a different thing, but it's all sound Silly Fools to the fan. Anyway.
That was my job too.
Yeah.
That was part to make sure they didn't lose their identity.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
In fact, you have told a lot about this question, but I need to know more about working with Silly Fools.
Yes.
As a whole, could you please like explain it? How does it work?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can. It's unusual in a way. Everyone would come to the studio with demos. So everyone goes away after the last album or tour,
Okay.
and they write songs at home, everyone in the band.
Okay.
And then they bring the demo, and then everyone listens to it, and they choose which songs are good.
Okay.
And a demo would never have vocals. There'd be no lyrics, even Toe's demos.
Okay.
It'd just be Kedontry, just music, right? And of course, they all had their own flavour. Bat Don's ones would just be like, and you kind of knew what was coming. Although, what was the song? Which I want, Nui. Yeah. That was all that piano, that's kind of like New Orleans. That's all him. That's Don. It's not me.
Okay.
He came in with that. I was like, wow, what the hell? That's amazing. So the process, they would come in with a demo.
Okay.
And then Do as well, and then they would choose songs. We never ever had 10 songs.
Okay.
I call it the 9-song curse, because Grammy always wanted 10 songs.
Yes.
And so Con on Candyman, I wrote Con because they only had 9 songs. So I wrote it, and then Tao finished the lyrics and everything.
Okay.
And then it happened every album. There's always like one song missing, and we'll be like, oh, and we're running out of time. We need to do a 10th song, Okay. And that's always the one I didn't really like, really. But so the process would be, we start recording in earnest. So I would put the demos, just guide drums or whatever, I would put it onto the system.
Okay.
And then I would then work on my own and write up each song I'd do like a essay about, should be like this, should be like that, this and that, and then explain it to them. And then start the whole recording process, because that's the other thing, in Grammy in Thailand, we got 2 months to do an album. Not like Farang's doing like 2 years. And that's the biggest shock to me. I was like, how long have I got? Are you kidding? So I used to do a map on the wall. It's like drums, bass. City Falls never recorded together.
Oh.
Never ever.
How come? Why? Why not?
They were not that kind of band. They were a kind of band that built songs from demo to master, with multiple changes along the way.
Okay.
They never wrote a song in its entirety.
Yeah.
So the logical thing would be, once you've got a good demo, Do would then write the lyrics and there would be a song. Never happened like that. This is the black D-mat about City Falls. Do could not get inspired by the demo. So I would cut things out of the demo to make like a drop, like what I would call a drop, which is the opposite to a dance drop.
Yeah.
It's where everything drops out, right?
Yeah.
So it comes down to something, and Doe would be like, oh, that's kind of moody. And then he'd go into another room with that part of the song in cycle, like that, with a blank piece of paper, and start writing.
Okay.
And then I'd be working on something else, and he'd come in and say, what do you think about this? And he'd sing me 2 or 3 different melodies. And it was great for me. I'd say, I like the first part of this one, the middle part of that one, and the last part of this one, or something like that.
Okay.
So he'd cobble them together as the first draft melody.
Let's get into it first. This method that To got the music and then put in the lyric and the melody together by himself.
Yeah.
Is that make Silly Fool song different from other rock band songs?
I think so.
Right, because normally the music come with the melody.
Yeah.
And then put the lyrics.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So there's something to be gained from that.
Okay.
Because, like I said before, I'm more of a collaborator producer. So you'd have the opportunity to bounce ideas around. Like I'll give you a really good example. Nam Lai. สรุปว่าฉันเป็นดูไม่ดีใช่ไหม There's that บางว่าฉันเป็นของอย่างนั้นบาง This is the pre-hook, right?
Yes.
And it just occurred to me, because it sounds like a funny word. Bang or wang, and the way he would do it is kind of like. So I put reverb on, just that word. So it goes bang or wang. So it made me think, oh, then the next line should be on a different track. So that sustains, and that became like a whole thing then of sound design. Bang or wang, chan ben kong yang nang, bang or wang, waka wa. These lines I would highlight certain bits. and then that would inspire Toe to write a different lyric or to write the next part or another part. You see?
Yeah, I see. Because since you
Sorry.
Farang, since you are Farang, so sometimes when you listen to Thai lyric, you listen it as a melody, as
a sound.
Yeah, as a sound, not just the word.
Yeah.
So that's why you can,
I actually think it's an advantage.
I think so.
I used to have a translation on a laptop, right? And like for example, ในวัวจะไม่ลอกกัน I had the Thai lyrics written in karaoke style, because I couldn't read Thai script, and I would have the translation. So what I would do is I would just read the translation all the way through and get the gist, the vibe.
Yes.
Because like I said to you, because Toe wrote the lyrics, I didn't need to tell him anything about how to sing it in the sense of like how to feel it, because it's coming from him anyway. I was amazed at the beauty of his lyrics, especially ในวัวจะไม่ลอกกัน.
Okay.
Just because he would tell me what it means literally in Thai, and then he would back translate it to to the English. You know, because if you actually literally translate it, it sounds nice. The flowers that I gave to you, you gave to someone else. But it's you know, it's and now all I'm left with is you know, it's beautiful actually what he writes, and so I get it. I understand why Thai people love his lyrics, because it's he said it's very unusual what he does. So I do get it.
Okay.
But yeah, like you said, I for the most of it, it was sonic, and actually.
Sonic. How do you translate this in Thai? Sonic.
เสียงนะ It's about the sound. It's about the sound. Of the
ความงดงามของเสียง Sonic is more than sound, right?
Yeah.
It's not just sound.
Well, I have this. I do this in English. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
I have a thing with which plosive and non-plosive.
Wow. What does it mean?
What it means is, you can say, okay, I'll give you an example. You can say, if it's singing in English, right?
Yeah.
You can say I, the word I, right? You can go I, that's plosive. It's really quite complex. Where's the breath? Because if you sing something in one breath, it sounds one way, but if you cut it up and snatch a breath, it makes it plosive. And not, so if you listen to it, so I did it with Toe.
I think about Michael Jackson.
That's a big example. Or Whitney Houston. She do and I will always love you, right? She she sings I will always love you, right? But these two I's are not the same. One's got a vibrato on it. So she goes I, so it's like a polar thing. And she does a massive vibrato on it. When people do it in a karaoke bar or something, they miss it, and it just sounds like they go right, and that's the difference.
I know.
That's vocal direction. I pride myself. I'm really serious about it.
Wow.
You know, but the sounds, it's like massaging your ears. It's like a rhythm. But sometimes the lyric, I would say to him, "Can you go up there?" This is like the thing that's so funny. I say, "It should go up. The note should go up there." You know. พริ้นความหมายใช่ไหม He goes เปลี่ยน I'm like oh he goes never mind. He screw up his lyrics and throw them over his head. Start again. I'm like no, really? No. I said, can't you just adjust it? No, it changes it completely. Start again.
Whoa.
But I like your melody.
Okay.
Because now I've said it, it has to go up there now because he agrees with me. It's hard about Thai, no?
Let me explain it into Thai just a minute. คือฟังช่วงนี้แล้วครับคุณผู้ชมผมอยากให้มันเหมือนกับเราได้เข้าใจว่าทำไมเพลงของ Silly Fools มันจึงพิเศษกว่าเพลงของวงอื่นๆที่เราได้ยินมาเพราะว่ากระบวนการทำงานแล้วก็สมมติเริ่มต้นด้วยการที่ Silly Fools ไม่เคยอัดเสียงพร้อมกันเลยค่อยๆเข้าไปอัดทีละคนแล้วแต่ละคนก็มันมีความค่อนข้างเป็นวิทยาศาสตร์นะช่วงนี้มันดูแบบค่อนข้างเป็นวิทยาศาสตร์นะแต่ในขณะเดียวกันพอโตเข้ามาแล้วทำเมโลดี้แล้วก็เนื้อร้องไปพร้อมๆกันอันเนี้ยมันเหมือนมันมีศิลปะอยู่ในนั้นมันจะต่างจากการที่เมโลดี้หรือทำนองอ่ะมันถูกฟิกซ์เอาไว้แล้วคนเขียนเนื้อเนี่ยมาแค่เติมเนื้อลงไปให้มันตรงกับเมโลดี้แต่อันนี้คือคนเขียนเนื้อมีอิสระในการที่จะ สร้างเมโลดี้ไปด้วยมันก็เลยทำให้มันเกิดเป็นเมโลดี้ที่พิเศษแล้วพอโปรดิวเซอร์เป็นฝรั่งซึ่งก็ไม่ได้ก็คือเข้าใจเนื้อหาเป็นภาพรวมแต่ว่าไม่ได้สนใจเนื้อหาละเอียดเป็นคำๆแต่ฟังแต่ละคำนั้นนะให้มันกลายเป็นเหมือนกับซาวของเครื่องดนตรีหรือว่าเป็นเสียงมากกว่าเป็นคำที่มีความหมายนะมันก็เลยเขาก็จะสามารถเติมอะไรบางอย่างที่ถ้าปกติแล้วโปรดิวเซอร์ไทยอาจจะไม่เติมเพราะว่าให้ความสำคัญกับความหมายของเนื้อตรงนั้นมากกว่าอะไรแบบนี้พอผสมกันออกมาแล้วมันก็เลยทำให้เข้าใจแล้วล่ะว่าเพลงซิลลี่ฟูลทำไมมันถึงออกมาเป็นเช่นนี้
ครับ well said
oh thank you
your Thai so good
As a producer, you have experience working with many bands.
Yeah.
So and I think you have your own criteria to call which band is the great band. Right?
Yeah.
So for Silly Fool, are they a great band?
Oh yeah.
Okay. How?
I would say they became a great band. Like I said, because of chemistry and because of situation.
Okay.
And because of how things happened organically.
Yes.
They didn't, I don't think, they were just a band. They were just some guys who made a band.
Yeah.
But it's just, sometimes it's just like magic when certain elements and, like I said, tasnakadi and attitude and faith.
Nice.
And I think they all had the same faith and goal, and the most important thing is they love it, really love doing what they do. It's really important that, because you notice I've seen bands fall apart, and it's when they stop loving what they're doing, and they get distracted with all the this and the that. You know what I mean? All the other stuff. I've seen it right before my eyes, and I could even predict when it's going to happen. Just by what's going on. People get married, they have this and that, and all these things go on. They lose that initial spark of why they did it in the first place. You see that.
Right.
So I think, but they were very special. There will never be another Silly Fools.
Of course.
And I'm not trying to, I want the people to know, I'm not trying to make another Silly Fools. Because you can't. For me, you can't do that without Toe. Anyway. Okay. For me. No disrespect to the current Silly Fools. They're great. They're doing, what they're doing is great.
But it's different.
It's different. It's just not the same. And I would never attempt to do the same. My band, Dragon Attack, I'm not trying to be like Silly Fools. It's just my DNA in there.
I see.
I'm collaborating with them in the same way.
Yes.
So that's why.
So the name Silly Fools, but when they are working, they are so really serious. They're not silly at all, right?
No, I know.
But could you please tell us more about their silly part, their funny part, working with them?
Yeah. Well, they are serious, but I mean, Ton is a total joker.
I think so.
He laughs at his own jokes too. I even see it on your clip, where he says "pilek" something or something, and he goes. That's exactly what he's like. He's very funny to work with, and the dynamic of Silly Fools. Toe explained it to me. They all speak with each other super fast, like really. It's almost like watching a comedy unfold. Only, of course, I was clueless as to what they were saying, and then Toe would stop and blare sometimes, and then I'd kind of join in, and then he'd explain to them what I'd said. Because I love comedy. I'm a humorous person. So, and which all contributed to a good atmosphere to record. Very important, and I've kept that with me since then. I do that with everybody. Everyone thinks, as they say, I don't feel like I've been working. It's been fun. Well, yeah, it's supposed to be fun. If it's fun, you get the best out of people. So that's the thing about Silly Fools. Actually, they are completely silly. We even did, I've got a thing about filming everything. I believe that, that moment's gone forever if you don't film it. I'm quite, which is lucky because I've got those.
Yeah, I saw your Facebook.
But I was always doing that, and we even used part of that for Chicha video and stuff, right? And when I wasn't filming and I was busy doing something on my own, they all went off to make a really bad B movie with the camera around Grammy, you know, doing funny things. They got, I remember they got Ding, one of the people with more music, tied her up and then put fake moustaches on and pretended to be mafia and calling her, what they do, kidnapping her and stuff, and just play acting. I've still got that somewhere. I've actually still got that thing. And this really, and Rang was dressed up like a Colombian drug dealer with shades on, and before he had his dreadlocks. You know, what was it? I remember when pizza guy delivered. It's all about food, right? So the pizza guy came to deliver. That's when we were doing Candyman, and Don went to take it and everything. He started talking to him about what are the hours, how much do you get, like he was interested to be a pizza guy. Just like that. It's like a kind of a weird thing to do, but we were all wetting ourselves laughing because he say he wouldn't let the guy go. He'd say, yeah, but is it good? You know, do you get your own? Do they give you a bite? He was asking that. It's ridiculous. That's what they're like.
That's what Thai people do. Sometimes.
Mook.
But that pizza guy know that this is silly food, right?
No, they were not famous then. Not really famous enough.
Okay. but now I think he know.
Yeah.
So let's talk more about Toe. Outside the work. During the spare time, the personal activity, how was he?
Yeah, just like a really good friend. He actually helped me move house before, his little car. He's always he was very dedicated to his family, in the sense that he'd be helping his mum do this or things about. He's always busy.
Yes.
Running, going to the market, doing this, doing that. That's Stowe. Come on, hubba. That's him.
Okay.
And then I wouldn't see him for ages, and then he'd call me, he'd phone me up and say, can you come and have a meeting? Well, next album, yeah, we're going to start in a couple of weeks. I'm like, Toe, you're going to give me a heads up, bro, because it would always be about studio time availability and everyone's schedule, and then I'd be the last to know, of course. He was just a good guy.
A funny guy.
Yeah.
During my last interview with To, he mentioned that he started to question himself as an artist during the working on the album Juicy.
Right.
So and eventually the band break up.
Yes.
So in your opinion, what do you think the most important factor that make them separated?
Yeah. No, it must be mint then. Search. Great song. Bug tie. There we are. Says Babo.